What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 63. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. Real quick, if you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel, that would be sweet. Before we get into the video, please watch this, we'll call it a sponsor read. Yeah, we'll call it a sponsor read. Sponsors part, you know, the things behind the scenes that make this thing tick. Please give it a watch.
Kart 63 is brought to you by Track Tack Tire Treatments, Burris Racing Tires, BeardOctane.com, 53 Titanium, JC Specialties, Product 41, and Shatter Karts.
Awesome sponsor read there, huh? Yeah, I've been on a diet. I'm skin and bones. So this is the last video before Halloween in the Taft household. We do things all Halloween. Our house is like a haunted house. It's my wife's really into it. I happen to own some clothes and such that look like that. So that's why I'm wearing what I'm wearing, just in case you're curious. And a couple things up front. I can already see the comments when I post this on Facebook Sunday morning when I share it out so you guys can see it. I can see the comments. I'm going to label the video something along the lines of titanium clutch. Do you need one? That's probably going to be it. Something along those lines. And there are people that are going to be in the comments immediately without watching the video, without knowing anything I said, without going through this whole thing. They're going to say, no, not needed. They're too expensive. It's fine. You can have your opinion. I just thought that we would do a dedicated video on the titanium clutch, and for not first things first because we already did. Second things second. All right. Thank you very much, 53 Titanium, for getting me out this clutch to go ahead and do a video on it. Obviously, to run on my cart, on my clone cart, and let's talk about it. Okay, the long end of the short, is that the term we're talking about? Do you need a titanium clutch? No. I know that 53 Titanium, that's not the best thing that I could say for their business, but hear me out. When I posted a video, and all I did was make a video on the weight. I did a short of it. You caught it. You may have caught it or not. I did a short of the weight comparison between a standard Bully 2-disc clutch that goes on a clone with, minus the driver. I didn't have the driver on either of them, but I did the weight comparison between the Bully and the 5.3 Titanium clutch. That's all it was. I was making no assumptions. I wasn't saying, hey, you have to have one of these, because obviously I just said you don't have to have one. That's all it is. What it did do was sparked what I thought was a very straightforward type of discussion on whether or not this was necessary. Some people are on one side of things, hey, the money is just not worth it, and there's nothing wrong with a Bully. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a Bully. I'm friendly with Kermit Buller. I run his engines. I run the Bama 250. I've run them for years. I've corresponded with him via email and messages and this and that. Great terms. As a matter of fact, I still have a Bully clutch. It's not like I yeeted the Bully clutch as soon as I got the 5.3 Titanium. Absolutely nothing wrong. I would argue to say that the Bully clutch is the standard in which clutches are designed. Now, you do have different designs, such as a Viper or a Gator or something like that, a different type of design, much the same, somewhat of what the 5.3 is designed. They're kind of a blend of both, in my opinion, but you run what clutch you can afford. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of having a titanium clutch over a Bully standard clutch. That is going to be weight. That's there are some very good things. When you're dealing with titanium, you don't have to deal with rust. It is a much lighter type of clutch, and what's that good for? That is good for spooling the engine up quicker. When your engine has less to turn in the drivetrain. That's why you see a lot of people going to it. Even, I did a video on the titanium axle. Rotating mass is a thing. If you can spool it up, you are taking the horsepower, your available horsepower that your engine is outputting, and getting it more directly to the surface to get your acceleration, to accentuate what horsepower you have. You don't have the loss of horsepower. Now, there is an argument to be said when you do have a little more rotating mass that would carry you better into the turn. This is the same kind of concept between the small driver and large driver, that more rotating mass actually helps at the end of the shoot. But for all intended purposes, you are increasing your horsepower to the ground with a lighter drivetrain, aka a clutch. So also a benefit that I've heard, obviously I've only run it one time. I just got the clutch towards the end of the season. I got one run on it. Thought it performed fantastically. One thing that I've heard about it is that you have to do less rebuilds on them, being that the titanium floaters and the friction discs that specifically go in the titanium clutch, they just purely last longer. So you may have more money up front to get the clutch, but this may save you in rebuilds. It may perform better in the long run. Now, I can't speak to that on personal experience. My only information here is anecdotal from the first time I ran it. I thought, like I said, I think that it hit super hard. It hit where I wanted it to, and it did everything a clutch is supposed to do. Do I think that the bully won't do that? No, the bully absolutely will do that. Some of your top teams still will run those. They haven't bitten onto it. Another point that was brought up, I think, about titanium is, I believe it was JP Curry in that comment thread on Facebook, was that some people just want to have nice things. And this is true, and I think he brought up a very good point. There's no reason for the nicer steering wheels, the whatever. I'm drawing a blank. I'll put it here as soon as I remember what it is. But everybody seems to run these type of steering wheels. There's no need for that. A standard wheel will do. The Kaler Customs wheel that I happen to run on this Shatter right here, it's not necessary. A steering wheel is a steering wheel. The Eliminator that I run on the UAS ride, is it necessary? No, but it's nice. Some people just want to have nice things, and if you can afford it, maybe it's something you want to have. Sometimes I am as cheap as they come, and if it weren't for this channel, maybe I wouldn't have some of the things that I currently have, and I owe that all to you. I owe it all to the companies that support this channel. But sometimes having nice things, sometimes tightening up your ship, if you will. Some things, your looks don't win races, but when you have a tight ship, if you will, when you really pay attention to the details, that has a tendency to correlate into speed, that you are being efficient, that you're being, tidy and everything, and you're keeping your stuff nice. And 5.3 titanium, the clutch here, I think does just that. It's a great looking clutch. I think what we're going to do right now is let me first say this. There is a better video on the actual building of the clutch over on 5.3 Titanium's YouTube channel. Kyle did a wonderful job explaining what goes into it, how to assemble them, breaks it down, builds it basically from nothing. But right now, I want to dive up close. I want to take a peek at the 5.3 Titanium. I even have my bully clutch over there so we can kind of do a comparison. We're not doing the weight comparison. That was, I believe, 8 ounces when I did that short. But I wanted to show you, if you were to be able to afford, and that's a big thing here, if you were able to afford to buy yourself a titanium clutch, what you're actually in for. Hey everybody, we are dove down here. Like I said, we're just going to take a peek at these. We'll take the second look will be at the titanium clutch, but everybody pretty much understands a bully clutch. If you've ever seen them before, I do not have a gear in here, but what you would have is reach over here and grab this. I have the throwout bearing in the actual the titanium clutch now, but what you would have is a washer, and then your throwout bearing, and then another washer, and then your basket will go on there. So aluminum basket, cool, been around. This is the design of the bully clutch. And how it goes together, what you do is you're going to have your Sorry. You're going to have your gear. Your gear is going to go into the hub. You're going to have a snap ring here. And then as this slides over, you have another washer and then a snap ring to hold that on. I want to show you that because of the difference in design of the 5.3 titanium. Like I said, Kyle did a wonderful video on 5.3 Titanium's YouTube channel. I will try, I believe, I will put it in the description if I have not already. So here is here's a more of a close-up on the 5.3 Titanium clutch. Of course, they did this. They said this was a pattern, so I can't remember what war it was. They put this pattern on so it couldn't be seen or something. There was a cool description about it. I can't quite remember what it is, but this is the 5.3 Titanium. Now, this is the difference here. So we're going to slide off the basket. This is 5.3 Titanium's proprietary basket here. Now, what we have here, inside here, is this sleeve goes all the way through. Here is your washer, your throwout bearing, and your washer again. On the outside, you're going to have your retention ring. Your snap ring is going to go over here. This is different from this. We'll just bring this over. The hub assembly, this shaft is not on here. This is sectional. It is a different design. It works exactly the same as when you get the clutch performs exactly the same as when you get it on the engine. So this assembly, I believe, is available to do a conversion. It will come with this inner sleeve here. I'm drawing a blank on what it's actually called. I just call it a sleeve. But this actually goes over your crank. That you can do a conversion with your standard bully basket. That is an option. You don't have to have the 5.3 Titanium basket, and that's fine. This will slide here with this assembly on the basket attached to your bully basket. Just to let you know that that is available, but you can put this on as a two-piece or whatever, and then when you get it on, I will let you know up front because it threw me a little off at first. We'll get this set back on there. You are going to have some distance inside of here to make up on your clone cart. And what I have done and what was suggested to me is this. So this washer here, I just have a thick washer to take up the distance. That actually closes the gap to that. Like I said, I was a little thrown off about it, and it's just like put a washer in there. It just to make up the gap so this gets flush. You can use thinner washers or anything like that to make up that gap for that. But real simple to use, real easy, and actually this is kind of nice that. Normally you have to, you can disengage this, obviously, to clean all this stuff, but you can just go ahead and separate the basket from the clutch, set that to the side, take this apart, go ahead and do all your bearing cleaning, get your throwout bearing cleaned up. I really like this design. It's a little different than what I've used before, so I thought we'd dive up close, take a peek, just show you what's going on here. And, all right, let's go back up top. It's just, it's a really nice clutch. Like some of the nicest stuff I've ever owned in this shop. I have to say that up front. Again, thank you, 5.3 Titanium, Scott, Kyle. Thank you very much to getting that clutch out to me. It's fantastic. I love it. I do. Again, there's nothing wrong with the bully that I currently had up until this point, but it is really nice to have nice things. So, when it all comes down to it, is it worth it? That is up to you. Will a new racer coming in, is this going to jump you from 6th place, middle of the pack, up to the lead? No, it absolutely is not. Now, this discussion did happen in that thread as well, and I brought up the point that if you're running 1 and 2, and maybe it is that little extra bit, maybe that extra application of horsepower, every little bit counts. Every little bolt counts, every little adjustment counts, every wipe of the tire prep counts. If you're running in the top 1, 2, 3, Is the titanium clutch something that might give you a slight advantage over your competitors? It's possible. For new racers coming in, is this necessary? No. Please, they are quite expensive. Titanium is quite expensive. If you're new to racing and you're just getting into it and you think this is the end all be all and you're going to put yourself out by buying a brand new titanium clutch, please don't. Please don't do that. Just get your basics done. Get your basic clutch. Get something that you can financially manage to do. But if you have progressed past that point, if you are now running, in your top 1, 2, and you're looking for somewhat of an advantage, even if it's minuscule, even if it's just a little bit that you think that maybe, just maybe, my clutch could perform a little better, maybe I can get a little more horsepower out of the engine in order to vault myself up into the top spot, this might be for you. Again, I am as cheap as they come. I'm thrifty, if you will. With my standard financial situation, would I be running out and buying one of these? No. But if you do have the means to do so, if you do have a budget for racing, if you can afford to do so, I think it's fantastic. I just think that they look great. The possibility, as I said, of less rebuilds on a clutch is fantastic. That concept alone, you don't have to send it out to your clutch guy. You don't have to have them, surface and ground and everything else there. If you can get more races and the performance of the clutch doesn't, in fact, lessen, that is fantastic. Maybe your money's worth is there, and maybe the initial investment on a pretty expensive clutch. Maybe it turns around 2 years later after only having to do one rebuild or something like that. Maybe that is something that you might consider when buying a titanium clutch. So I know that, like I said in the beginning of the video, and I preemptively, foreshadowing maybe, knowing the people I'm friends with on Facebook, knowing where it's going to get shared, knowing this and that. The comment section is always interesting. If you're rude or anything, just to let you know up front, I delete your comment. I'm not about that. I'm about positivity. I'm about bringing the tide up to rise all ships in the karting community, in racing. So if you're just going to come in and be essentially a jerk, I'm just going to delete your comment. No reason, no this and that. Just bloop, where'd my comment go? Well, how did you word that? There are many other ways to word that maybe you could have gotten your comment across, your opinion across to people. I'm not going to tolerate it, type of thing, and I'm not being sensitive. I'm Gen X. I don't have feelings, but I just wanted to let you know, if I post a video, if another discussion happens to break out down in the comments here, if you want to talk about it, is it something that you're interested in? Is it something you've considered? Is it, is a 5.3 titanium clutch in your finances to be able to afford? I think it'd be a wonderful thing. I think that from what I felt from the first time I ran it, it performs exactly as advertised. I think it's fantastic. Something like the 5.3 titanium with a mini gear setup on a little bit bigger track, you are definitely going to utilize your horsepower by reducing that rotational weight, by getting more horsepower to the ground. It's just my opinion on it. But then again, as I said, if you are just getting into karting, if you cannot afford it, if you do not have the budget for it, please don't. Please don't put yourself out on that. Buy tires. Seriously, I think that there is more speed to be had in a new set of tires, and a little more research, a little more concentration on setup, a little driving technique, this and that. But if you can afford it, I think they're fantastic. I really, I wish I had a couple more, just so, God forbid something go wrong, but I don't see anything going wrong with it. Or having another one on the engine, so I just switch over both. That'd be cool too. Anyway, I'm not putting it out there. I'm just saying, if I can afford one, I'd have it. I really like the Bully clutches, the Viper clutches, the Gator clutches, whatever you want to go. Do what makes you fast. If you can afford to do so, titanium might be your route. I think they're sweet. I think they're probably going to look better for a longer period of time, being that they are titanium. They're going to rust and look all funky on you, and they're sweet, man. They're just sweet. Anyway, thank you very much for coming by, everybody. I super appreciate all the support, all the time, all the comments, all the shares, everything. I made it to a TikTok video. That was pretty funny. I sent it to my buddies, and they're just like, dude, what the? Somebody, I'm on TikTok, but somebody had put me in a TikTok, Hardy. It was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by, and we'll catch you in the next one. Later.